Dragon Quest I is where JRPGs all began, and I decided to go back all the way to the very beginning in this incredible HD 2D remake. I just spent over 50 hours retelling this entire story, making sure I included all the fragmented pieces of foreshadowing, the emotional NPC dialogue, subplots, world building, and lore drops hidden away in the corners of the world. The way the story was designed for you to experience. All of it fused together into this one singular narrative that I made for you to enjoy. So it's time to grab some snacks, and here we go. A strange voice is heard. It says that a great darkness threatens this world, and if left unchecked, it may swallow it entirely. But the hero, a scion of Erdrick, may be able to save it. He must head for Tanchagel and do all he can, for the fate of the world lies with him. The hero wakes up in a forest and overhears an attack nearby. A captain and his 2 guards are under attack by a swarm of fiends. The hero saves the guards, and they happen to be royal guards of the kingdom of Tanchagel. They speak of a cursed island in the horizon of Tanchagel, a place where a foul demon suddenly appeared and dwells inside, leading the attack of fiends across the world, the Dragonlord. In return for the hero saving them, they decide to escort him to the kingdom personally. As the hero reaches the lively royal kingdom of Tanchagel, he seeks presence with the king. The hero tells the king of his recent dream where he was told he was the bloodline of the almighty Erdrick, the hero long ago who killed the lord of the underworld. The king himself is tied to the legend of Erdrick, but cannot merely take the hero's word, and so he is sent to find proof within the cave that holds the shrine of Erdrick, and after to find the shrine of Rain. Then he must return and inform the king of what he has found. After the hero discovers Erdrick's Hollow, he encounters 4 newbie adventurers who are also seeking the Grave of Legend, but they hurry to the caves to be the first to find it. The hero dives deep into the caves and finds it before the others, and he reads an inscription on the tombstone. "I am Erdrick. Heed me well, bearer of my blood, heir to my destiny. Before my passing, I entrusted 3 objects to 3 great sages. When evil rules the ill-starred isle once more, gather the hallowed triad, and strike a blow for the cause of light." The other warriors interrupt and read the inscription for themselves. What they read harshly differs from the hero. They are told by the tombstone to take courage through the light that shines in the darkness, for it's a hero's greatest power. Saddened that the message was not as they hoped it would be, they leave the hero alone, and he reads a second hidden scripture. "Blood of my blood, child of my children, seek out the sphere of light, by whose power the darkness might be banished, and the fiends repelled. I have entrusted it to the care of the king of Tanchagel. Join forces with whomever of his line now sits upon the throne, and see that its blessing is brought to bear. For if it is lost, the world will be plunged into darkness once more. Treasure it, for it shall be your salvation." The hero has been guided to trust the royal bloodline of Tanchagel as an ally. A musician plays a somber song for his lost home and notices hero. This is Zalen, descendant of Galen, he who has a golden voice and a legendary bard. He searches for wisdom following the same path as his ancestor, following the line of Erdrick. He speaks of a place in Alefgard that is deeply connected to the hero of old and tied to Erdrick's legend. He is in search of it. He pleads to be informed if the hero may come across such a place, and he leaves. On the bridge to the east, the hero finds a wounded Tanchagel soldier. His dying breaths are used to alert of the princess's kidnapping and the cave which she is kept in. The captain and his team stumbles upon this and learns of the search team's demise, and immediately sets forward to the swampland. The hero is commanded to take responsibility for this fallen soldier's burial and inform the kingdom, also asking to keep this event private. The hero finds the Shrine of Rain, and inside waits the Sage of Rain, who wishes to be left in solitude. Once learning the king has sent the hero, he accepts for that royal line is amongst the closest allies to preserving the legacy of the hero of legend. It is the sage's duty to test those who wish to take the hero's mantle and should prove themselves worthy. One who can return the Lyre of Ire, a lost treasure, will be given the Staff of Rain. Rain begins and the hero stops the night. In his dreams he sees another vision. He must meet with Rubis. Her protection can be used against the darkness. The faeries will help hero as well as all of Tanchagel. Lady Rubis is mother of this realm. She raised each mountain and gave form to every leaf and stone. The Shrine of Rain is where the faeries once offered their worship upon Rubis. Long ago, mighty Erdrick stood upon this tower and received her blessing. Only then did the hero of legend vanquish a great evil, but the faeries were lost to time, and the means of summoning Lady Rubis was lost to them. The sage asks the hero to prove his strength by summoning Lady Rubis, and he will be granted the Staff of Rain and recognised as a true hero. He must now report all of his findings to the King of Tanchagel, who reveals the truth. It was the kingdom's responsibility to protect the Sphere of Light, and with it, Erdrick's legacy. The king's daughter, who the search party failed to save, has a special power. She is able to hear the voice of almighty Rubis. Several months before this began, she received a warning from the Spirit of Land herself. Rubis speaks to Gwaelin. Rubis entrusts to her a message of how to save the world. A great darkness threatens Alifgard. She must take the Sphere of Light and seek it out. In time, one who bears the blood of Erdrick will come to her. She must impart to him a message to guide him on his quest. It was at that same moment the fiends began to appear and troubled the land. The king chose to trust the word of Rubis and allowed his only daughter to venture forth with a troop of the kingdom's best soldiers to the Shrine of Rain. On Gwaelin's journey, she encountered an ominous presence. This being senses a strange power. He reveals himself and notices that Gwaelin bears the Sphere of Light. In a matter of seconds, this powerful being disposed of Tanchagel's strongest soldiers, for he is the Dragonlord, Master of Masters, King of Kings. He is the self-proclaimed true ruler of the world. The Dragonlord attempts to steal the Sphere of Light. As she persists, she is protected by Rubis. But the evil Dragonlord's power is far too great and overcomes Gwaelin's protection, successfully stealing the Sphere of Light. Another voice speaks, convincing him to take the princess regardless of her consent, for there is much to learn from her. Months later, Gwaelin is still missing. The king battles an internal conflict between being a father and being a king. He understands his duties to the world and that manpower should be expended to retrieve the Sphere of Light. So the hero decides to offer his support to the kingdom. Erdrick once travelled without hindrance throughout the world by the means of 3 keys. The hero must gather them, one of which has been discovered in the town of Gallenholm, the Thief's Key. The hero must seek it out and venture forward. The king may not speak of his worries, but he suffers in silence, and has worried greatly over the recent months. It is noble, for as he prioritises his duties as king, but cannot help his fatherly tendencies to seep through. The hero arrives to the lively Gallenholm. A gathering is taking place within town. A swindler is displaying a key that is capable of opening any door that is red. He claims it is a key once used by almighty Erdrick, the Thief's Key. He is selling it to anybody who can buy it for 1 million gold coins, but perhaps 800,000 for a worthy warrior. The town, however, distastefully scorns the swindler for trying to make a profit during a dark time in the world. The honourable townsfolk of Gallenholm are shocked and embarrassed about the swindler and his rotten money-lending friend, for they have no honour and care only about turning a profit during a time of need. One woman speaks that the slippery merchant rests in an inn just south of town. A young boy claims he saw the culprits who flew away with Princess Gwaelin, and they flew far to the east. Gallenholm is named after the once famous bard, Galen. When he retired, he built himself a house and settled for the rest of his days, and naturally, a town sprang up around his home, which has now become known as Gallenholm. Following the rumours, at an inn south of Gallenholm, the swindler is found passed out in his room, unknown to the innkeeper to why. He speaks of a strange fellow, entirely unclothed except for a mask and loincloth, who entered suddenly and stole the thief's key and escaped by window. The innkeeper pieces this together and deduces this is the work of one called Robin Hood, a lord among bandits who terrorizes the land mercilessly. He was seen fleeing southward. The most appropriate course of action would be to alert the Knights of Tanchagel, but the swindler reluctantly admits he came to the possession of the key through non-regular means, and if it were to be investigated, he would spend time in prison. The inn acts as a roadblock through to the south of Alifgard. It is there to warn wanderers of such strong enemies nearby, and gives caution to those who plan to travel through. But determined as always, the hero sets forward to obtain the thief's key. While searching for Robin Hood, he finds the nameless ruins, another desolate town utterly destroyed. Here, much like at the Forgotten Ruins, Zaelin plays another song and warms his heart to have their paths cross again. He wonders if there is any meaning in his dream. What is the meaning in bringing new works of song into being if all of mankind is doomed to fall like this town was? The hero finds an inscription scribbled on a sign. It says, "When I grow up, I shall be mayor. I shall make this village the bestest village in the whole wide world." But of course, we know the truth of what happened to this poor child. There is all but one survivor of this massacre, an old lady. Her only wish is to die with her home, even after the monsters savagely laid waste to it. She just wants to be left alone. Not much can be done to help this fallen town, but Robin Hood and his goons are still out there, and Hero must stay determined to find the thief's key. Nearby, he finds him inside of Craggy Cave and overhears Robin Hood and his goons arguing. Robin Hood is furious that one of his goons is going to be left to die, and he wants to help. Very quickly the hero is spotted and a battle begins. Robin Hood is defeated and surrenders himself. He swears upon his soul to mend his wicked ways and begs for mercy. The hero grants his wishes and exchanges a friendly greeting. They learn his claims that the legendary hero's blood flows through his veins. Only Robin Hood believes these claims. He says Erdrick once worked for one of his ancestors and must be the reason why he was defeated moments ago. He gracefully hands over the thief's key on the condition that the hero must navigate the Craggy Cave and bring back his fallen comrade to safety. Robin Hood also spreads the rumour that faeries supposedly lie within these caves, and the hero now sets off to save Robin Hood's comrade he cares so deeply for. Deep in the cave, a sorcerer has cornered Robin Hood's comrade, telling him to submit to his magic. The sorcerer charges a spell to end his life, but gets interrupted by the hero and is swiftly defeated in battle. He reveals he currently has Princess Gwaelin within the Dragonlord's castle and laughs, for she will never be saved by a mere hero. The Robin Hoodlum is relieved that his boss sent a hero to rescue him. The Hoodlum came down the caves to search for an item after the thief's key was nicked. He thought if he could find treasure, he could lift the boss's spirits, but instead has caused nothing but a bother. Before the hero leaves the caves, he hears a whisper saying, "Have those stupid humans gone?" or "Quiet, one of them is still here." Curious to what this could be, Hero explores deeper and to his shock discovers two faeries. They quickly escape and are fearful of being captured and sold away, but one of them instead thanks the hero for defeating the awful monster just now. He over-explains who he is, but reveals he is on a journey to save the world and is searching for a way to summon Lady Rubis. The fairies are called Daydreamer and Arm Twister. Arm Twister wants to give the hero information since working together could potentially help save the world and the other thing. Lady Rubis is not in Alefgard right now, she's in another world. The fairies' leader has an ingenious way of summoning her, but she was interrupted by the Dragonlord's attacks on the world. So Daydreamer and Arm Twister came to the caves looking for dwarfs who might know where their leader is. They say if the hero can find their leader, they can help summon Lady Rubis. Returning to Robin Hood and the Hoodlums who are fast asleep, they say they spotted fairies past them but fell into a deep slumber soon after. He upholds his end of the deal and happily passes over the thief's key for saving his friend. The hero's search for the fairy leader has led him east into the caves where Gwaelin's guards and the Tantagel Knights are searching for Gwaelin earlier on. They have finally found a clue on her whereabouts. Stories say within this cave lies a dragon. The two argue the best course of action, since Gwaelin could be mere moments away from where they stand, but here, a monster reveals glimpses of itself as it tries to sneak up upon the guards, but striking from behind saving them is the hero. The captain succumbs to a bad cough and is in no state to fight, so they head to Remaldar to recover and prepare. Now the captain and guard have reached Remaldar, a doctor needs to be found right away. The guard calls out for her father's health. She feels she has disappointed her father. He inspired her to pick up the sword and follow his path, but her failure in protecting Princess Gwaelin has forced him out of retirement, and now he is suffering from a great illness. The doctor says the illness is from the nearby swamps. The illness is born out of darkness and is a force none yet have learned how to combat. He fears there is nothing they can do to help. Perhaps there is a mage with the power and spell that might aid the captain, but he does not know who or where that person might be. A cabin to the west of town is locked, but the thief's key can be used to enter through the back door. Inside is the Warlock of Doorlocks. The thief's key pales in comparison to his own magic. He is a jack of all magical trades, and by luck, he has a spell that can cure the captain, although he is busy. The dwarf who was recently aiding him has suddenly vanished. The hero agrees he will uncover the whereabouts of this dwarf, and in return, the warlock will use his healing magic for the captain. The caves where the dwarves lay are swarmed with powerful fiends. It lies in the deepest part of a cavern south of Remaldar. Assuming all is well, his craftsman friend should be found there. Amongst the moat that surrounds Remaldar, a man named Roderick is awaiting for his love, and wonders why she is late. He asks if Hero shall come across a maiden named Enid to tell her Roderick is waiting here. Enid is found on the other side of a moat, but she was told the wrong location to meet. Returning to Roderick, he is grateful of the hero's help and in return tells him from the Baths of Kol, walk southward and examine the ground carefully beneath his feet to find a treasure. For this was a secret entrusted to his grandfather's grandfather's grandfather by the mighty Erdrick. A martial artist speaks of a shrine in a tower, north and west to the village of Kol, for a most curious fellow dwells there alone. The town's carpenter admires the work of the dwarves, but reveal they are stubborn and not too friendly either. They only occasionally have deals with humans, but none as of late. But a strange old man tells legends of how mighty Erdrick once used the Rainsbow as a bridge to the Forsaken Isle just west of here. They also speak of how the hero did descend into the darkness through a hidden doorway in the castle's throne room. He says if Hero could by chance meet with a descendant of Erdrick, Hero must promise to inform him what the old man now speaks of, for this knowledge shall benefit him greatly. The Thief's Key can be used to unlock all doors amongst the Cave of the Dwarves, but extremely strong fiends lay waiting amongst it, much like how the Warlock warned. Deep in the Cave of the Dwarves, peril is afoot. One dwarf reveals that it was in fact them who constructed the faeries' secret dwelling place, built it and hid it too. Even if a person were to stumble upon the hiding place, they would not know it. Dwarves do not abandon their own kind, even through sickness. With the world being in peril as it is, none of them are prepared to brave the dangers of the world in search of doctors or medicine. A dwarven craftsman is sick in his bed, but learns the hero was sent by the Warlock of Dorlocks. He too was hit by a darkness poison from the cursed swampland, much like the captain. He fears he will not stay in this world for long. He had hoped to see the magic key completed. He once heard of a miraculous medicine that the leader of the faeries say might cure all sicknesses. She and the dwarf are long acquaintances, but haven't spoke for a long time. He is sure he cannot survive the journey to Craggy Cave and southward to their secret dwelling place. He can only accept that he is done for. Hero, now with the knowledge of where the faeries live, sets off to find the fairy village. Upon stumbling the village, Hero is immediately scorned and demanded to leave. Armtwister however recognises him and approaches him. She explains to the fairies that he is the one that she force asked to help her. Daydreamer also vouches and contests with the demands. The Overseer is looking over the village while the leader is away. She wants to know how the hero found this place. She learns the dwarves are sick and requires a miraculous medicine, but they unfortunately cannot give their support. The Overseer does not know all the ingredients for the sunup syrup. The fairies allow the hero to stay the night. The fairies have a strong distaste for humans. Many of them wonder why a human was even allowed to enter the village. Some run away at the sight of a human. Some, however, have less distaste, and they speak of their long history with dwarfs. Not too long ago, the fairies migrated here, since their last home was attacked by monsters, but this was also the last time the boss was seen. Within the village, there's only two buildings, the workshop and the house where they all live. In the workshop, the Craftmaster fairies are trying to replicate what their leader was once working on, but aren't even aware what the sunup syrup even is, for she's missing a few ingredients. Inside the village quarters, fairies remember Erdrick and speak of his travels with a group, and they're surprised that the hero currently travelling is all on his own. Hero reads a few books by the fairies, speaking of how to deal with monsters and humans by using magic and brains. It can also be a great way to make humans do stuff for you, and he thinks that this was probably written by Armtwister, and the other was probably written by the chief, who is tired of leading the hectic group of fairies and wishes for their leader to return. Elsewhere, Princess Gwaelin is praying to Almighty Rubis for strength in her time of need. A mystical monster sprays her with a darkness spell, and she suddenly sees a vision of being back home in Tanchagel Castle. The king is ecstatic at Gwaelin's return, and the Chancellor says the hero vanquished the Dragonlord, for peace has finally returned to the world, meaning her role also has come to an end. The king politely asks if Gwaelin could share the message that she was entrusted to by Rubis, the secret that was imparted onto her. Gwaelin cannot be tricked so easily. She prays that these wicked illusions be banished at once. She is a strong princess, and mere phantoms will not sway her. A voice speaks to her to give in to it, for she cannot resist forever. The vision shall continue until she submits. The human's weakness is their hearts, and the monster knows this. Another vision comes along, one of the Queen of Tanchagel. Gwaylin's mother, comforting her in her strength to resist. She is so proud that her little girl has grown so strong. Gwaylin is shocked to see her mother's face once again, for she died when she was just a mere baby. Whether the queen is an illusion or not, she says it really does not matter. Regardless, Gwaylin must not reveal the message that she was entrusted. The king now appears alongside the queen and began burning at the monster's doing. Gwaylin stands strong and refuses to believe any of these illusions, but is met with another confusing sentiment from the queen. Whether it is or isn't an illusion, she is glad to have met her beloved daughter at last, but then they soon burn away in front of Gwaylin. She knows that none of this is real, it is all figments of a mirage, but watching them suffer and burn makes her feel ever so sad. The pain is too hard to bear. Multiple illusions of the king and queen appear again and again, spreading more emotional sentiments, pulling on her heartstrings and tearing her down through her heart. A voice is heard, saying the light of hope is fading and must hurry. Only with the magic key the princess will be free from this torment. The voice reveals the missing ingredients that the fairies can make the sunup syrup with the glimmergrass and wake robins. There is not much time left. Hero must go to her. The fairies are hesitant to believe this story, and they still do not trust humans. The overseer says that if he can bring those two ingredients and it truly does make the sunup syrup, then she shall believe him. She guides Hero southwest, far down by the mountains. Nearby he discovers the citadel of the Monarch of Medals, a royal palace that is home to the Monarch of Medals, a collector of the most maximally magnificent of minuscule marvels, mini-medals. He can offer a fine array of rewards in exchange for any mini-medals that the hero may find across Alefgard. Hero finally discovers the Field of Flowers, a place where natural life flourishes and where the fairies directed him to find the missing ingredients. He first obtains the Wake Robin and soon the Glimmergrass, but he notices a strange item nearby. Once he approaches it and carefully looks through the grass, he finds a strange glowing fruit that he's never seen before, but although it is beginning to rot, it's radiating an incredible power, the power of nature, the power of life. The fruit spits forth two glowing seeds, and Hero keeps them secured in his pocket. Back at the fairy village, the fairies are under attack by monsters who have found their new hideout. The overseer plans to distract them while the rest escape, following in the footsteps of their leader, but her magic spells are too weak to face the monsters, which is when Hero bursts onto the scene and defeats the group of enemies. The hero hands over the Glimmergrass and Wake Robin, which shocks them, as well as Hero's strength saving them. Arm Twister agrees to making one human's worth and one dwarf's worth of sunup syrup in exchange. As the fairies go to make the sunup syrup, the overseer personally thanks Hero, but is shocked to learn that he's acquired two seeds. She says they're very special seeds, filled with the power of life itself and more valuable than you could possibly imagine. They only grow in certain very specific places, under very specific conditions. The fairy leader once said that if she obtains some of those, she can make something she always spoke about. She is angry that the fairies were searching for them for so long, only to be found by a selfish human. Hero responds by handing these rare seeds over to the overseer, but as she responds, she's interrupted by Daydreamer, exclaiming they've successfully created the sunup syrup, meaning the hero's dreams must be true. The fairies hand 2 doses of sunup syrup over to the hero. The overseer asks that the hero returns to them after he's cured his 2 friends, but the other fairies are displeased by this, but she explains the situation behind the seeds and that he might be one of them after all. Returning to the cave of the dwarves, Hero administers a dose of sunup syrup to the dwarf as he sleeps, and instantly the poisonous humours dissipate before his very eyes. As the dwarven craftsman wakes up, he remembers Hero was sent by the warlock of Dorlocks, and in return will make way for Remondar with all haste. The legacy of his newly regained life shall be the return of the magic key. Beneath a well in the dwarf's home, Hero finds a wellspring crystal, a strange substance that could be equally ice and equally crystal, an important item that may come in handy later on. Back at Remondar, the captain's daughter, the guard, wallows in sadness for all that has happened. Had she have been better, her father would not have overexerted himself to correct her failures. Hero arrives to learn both the priest and mage have exhausted all avenues to aid him. He shall soon perish, but Hero says hope is not lost and administers the sunup syrup to the captain as he sleeps, and again, poisonous humours dissipates before his very eyes. Raylan's guard is utterly ashamed, breathing what could be his last breath, while she wallows in her mistakes, whilst Hero was seeking out for a solution despite being a stranger. Hero tells her of his dreams about Princess Gwaelin being held captive in a cave. The guard recovered her necklace by the cave, discarded upon the ground. The hero hears a voice. "Mighty hero, I trust that thou will return the light unto this benignant world of ours. I trust thou will come to my aid. Thou must come quickly. I know not how much longer I can." The princess spoke to Hero privately through the necklace, but the guard could not hear this. She hands over the necklace and requests the hero goes to her within the caves and find her soon. But the doors in the cave are locked up, so Hero must first acquire the magic key from the warlock. At his house, the warlock and dwarf are in the final stages of their craft, combining the magic spells and quality craftsmanship of the dwarf. When finished, the magic key has come to creation. The magic key shall not bend nor break, no matter how many times it is used. The warlock learns of all the hero has done, aiding the dwarves and also the faeries. He says it truly is like the tales of mighty Erdrick, for it was that very same hero who once bared the key that the one they just created was modelled after. He hands it over to the heroes, for it is his by right. Amongst Remildar, a prisoner speaks of a chilling tale. In a land distant to the south, lies a forest that once entered may never be left. It is said to have been cursed by one greatly skilled in the art of illusion. The old man who spoke of the rain's bow shares an ancient rhyme of Alifgard. When rain and sun the twain do meet, the rain's bow shall a bridge complete. The legends also speak of a stone betokening the sun, which slumbers within the grounds of Tanchagel's castle. This old man has vast knowledge on the legends long ago. Hero finds a mystical soothsayer in her place of foretelling of sight beyond sight. Even if Hero does not speak a word, she still knows of his heart and purpose. She speaks of a place where rain and sun shall meet at last. Journeying south of Remildar, one will find the most holiest of shrines, the blessed sanctum. Before setting out to rescue the princess, the hero returns to the fairy village as they requested. He discovers them creating something called the soul sigil within the workshop. Using the seeds he gifted them, sigils are created by the boss. There are 5 in total. There's life, sun, moon, stars, water, and soul. This can be used to summon Lady Rubis, but the hero's knowledge of such matter causes tension between the fairies. For Lady Rubis is a secret of the fairies. They speak of making the hero acquire the seeds to make all 5 sigils, just like they did one day long ago with the mighty Erdrick. The fairies officially ask the hero for his help in bringing Lady Rubis back to this world. They hand over the soul sigil to aid him on his quest. The soul sigil can have excellent effects, making the hero stronger with more health, and also transforms some spells and abilities into more powerful versions. The hero hands over the wellspring crystal he found within the dwarven caves, and crafts another sigil, instantly using the crystal's abilities. This time she has crafted the water sigil, and hands it over to the hero, making him stronger, this time amplifying the potency of items used in battle. Only 3 more sigils must be crafted in order to summon Lady Rubis back to this realm. Now the hero is better prepared and ready, he sets forth to save Princess Gwaelin from the Quagmire Cave. Hero finds the Moonbeam Dew, a plant that can later be extracted by the fairies for a new sigil, but he must persist deeper into this cave. Hero has stumbled upon Princess Gwaelin within her room, but she questions how she was even found in the first place. Almighty Rubis has banished the illusion, for it was a fake Gwaelin. Nothing can be trusted here. She is shocked that the hero did not come here to learn the messages she received from Rubis, but instead just to save her. This is when she learns that Hero is not another illusion from the Dragonlord, and this is not an illusion for the hero either, for this is the real Gwaelin. As the illusions fade and the two see that they have returned to the cave, a powerful dragon appears to take them down. After this long and tough battle, the hero proves his strength and the green dragon is defeated. Gwaelin is surprised to be given her lost necklace again. After all she just witnessed, she is sure that the hero is he. She shares the message that Almighty Rubis entrusted to her. She says she can only share it to that who shares the blood of Erdrick. The sacred egg has been tainted, and a great darkness will engulf the world. Sun, rain, and rain's bow all shall dwindle. She says there is one man southward who knows all, and he must embark there to find more on the rain's bow. Hero picks up the princess in his big strong arms, and carries her back to her home in Tanchagel. One saw this all occur, who overheard the message entrusted to the princess and saw the dragon was defeated by a formidable human. The kingdom of Tantegel needs to worry no more, for the hero has returned carrying in his arms their very own princess. The knights all celebrate for her return, and when the king sets his eyes on his daughter, he believes he is dreaming. The entire kingdom engulfs in joy and celebration, for this day will always be remembered. But a banquet may not occur yet. The Dragonlord still puts the world in peril and must be dealt with at once. It would not be right for an official celebration. The king is now convinced the hero is the true descendant of the mighty Erdrick, and exclaims the hero is here and comes with him is hope. They must aid him in vanquishing the Dragonlord so he can deliver the world from evil. At the outer courtyard of the castle, Gwaelin stands alone. Although she is happy for the hero to be recognised and the people truly happy, she cannot yet accept her feelings, for the sphere of light is in the Dragonlord's possession. The world will not yet know peace, and she looks beyond the Dragonlord's castle in worry. Gwaelin fears of Hero's safety, for the Dragonlord's power is unknown. In fact, who he truly is or what he is unknown, and is confused to why he claims the sphere of light to be truly his by right. She asks the hero to promise to return to her one day, after the fight with the Dragonlord, and he can remain unharmed. She gives him a gift, a token for her love for him. She hands over her necklace. The next morning, the king speaks of two towns currently under siege, Damdara to the west and Cantlin to the south. The Chancellor wants to send Hero to Cantlin in her place, but the king orders him to follow the path that Rubis have instructed to him, in order to bring the world one step closer to salvation. Before deciding where to go, the hero returns to the fairy village to hand over the moonbeam dew he found within Quagmire Cave. The fairies use this to create the third sigil, the moon sigil, that amplifies the effectiveness of his spells. With so many avenues to pursue right now, Hero sets off to complete his journey of helping the fairies create all 5 sigils, and leaves the mystery behind the rainbow for later. For now, he wants to summon Rubis into this realm. His journey takes him onto Weirdwood in the far south, a place where one can easily get lost and a magical force restricts anyone from using a map. Hero finds himself completely and utterly lost, deep into the woods. He hears a voice. Princess Gwaelin speaks to him through her necklace. She senses his confusion. She calls upon the almighty Rubis' holy power to reveal the path ahead. Then all of a sudden, the illusions have gone, and the path ahead is clear. He soon encounters the Tantegel captain and guard. They arrived here in hopes of aiding the hero. They follow in his wake, awaiting an opportunity to aid him. But here, Gwaelin swiftly intervenes not to trust them, for they are only illusions. An ominous voice coming from a mirage is frustrated in the failed attempts to fool the princess once again, but her wit outsmarts them. More spirits appear engaging in a battle, but during the battle, spirits begin to appear again and again. Hero reigns supreme, and the mirage fades into his last breath. It speaks he shall proceed no further. He mutters regarding Cantlin and the power of darkness. Cantlin flares up in the hero's brain, since that is where the Chancellor once spoke of. Now suddenly, the leader of the faeries is set free. The mirage trapped her within an illusion, and was she who has been talking to the hero in his dreams. She is the queen among fairies. She needs the hero to help her summon almighty Rubis, and it must be quick, for the Dragonlord is getting stronger with each passing day. The hero escorts her to the village of the fairies, where she is met with shock, awe and relief by the other fairies. The overseer asks Hero to stay put within the village, at least until the queen wakes up. The fairies across the village suddenly lose their distaste for this human. Some are grateful, some are still fearful. One shares her experience being captured by a human once, and sold off at a market. She understandably fears humans, but not this one. The queen has the power to speak to humans directly through their dreams. It was how she helped Erdrick all those years ago. Once the queen wakes up, she speaks of her being trapped within illusions, and her only course of action was to use her power to bring the two together. The prophesized hero and the princess with a special message entrusted by Rubis. While Rubis has been away, the Dragonlord rose up and darkness has spread everywhere. Now she cannot come home. The hero cannot travel to the Dragonlord's island, now the power of land is being eaten away. The power of rain and sun, and the rainbow with it, which means he also cannot be defeated if he cannot be reached. The fairies need to carry out a special summoning ceremony, but they need a few things, for it's not easy. The first is the fairy flute, one of 2 instruments in the world capable of playing a melody that Rubis can hear, and the other is the Lyre of Ire. A song played on both of them at once is the only thing that can reach her. They also need extra special items to channel the power of nature and drive back the darkness to create a path of light so she can re-enter this world. 5 of them will do this, the 5 sigils. Only after all of those have been gathered, the path to the Dragonlord's castle will be open and the sphere of light can be retaken. All that is known for the location of the fairy flute is that Erdrick hid it somewhere in the east a long time ago, and the Lyre of Ire holds legends of the hero in a town called Cantlin. The Undying Flame is also found within the forest in Weirdwood, used to craft the Sun Sigil. Once the fairies complete this ritual, it has increased chances of landing critical hits and only 1 more sigil remains. In the northeast region of Alefgard, the humble calming village of Cole lies. In the east of the village, a royal guard is visited by Hero by chance. This guard was a part of the unit sent to seek out Princess Gwaelin. He left his unit and sent his resignation, for he was too injured, but also too fearful, so he returned to the village where his wife and daughter lives. His wife works twice as hard to provide as he spends his time weeping in solitude. A traveller warrior has arrived in Kol in search of a sword of legend, but it is not found here. He did hear from an old blacksmith of a rare sword that can be found in the town of Cantlin. A Tanjigel guard on duty speaks of a towering golem that fears nothing but one thing, the painfully pure tones of the flute. Some creatures cannot be vanquished by main force alone, yet all are possessed of a weakness. That exact fairy flute that is needed to summon Rubis is found within Kol, and bears a resemblance to the description of a flute set to be the weakness of a golem within Cantlin. A weakness of the hero shall be the temptation of a puff in Kol's public spring bath for only 20 coins. There is a mage who knows the hero's name, and that he is the bearer of Erdrick's blood. His weapon cannot vanquish the Dragonlord. He must seek out the sword of his ancestor and use it to cleanse the realm of all evil. The slumbering golem is woken by the hero's presence and is an almighty foe, but Hero is prepared with a fairy flute and sends his fiend back to his deep slumber. But he awakes frequently in a rage. Even with the fairy flute in hand, this stands as the hardest battle for the hero on his journey yet, but the golem is defeated and drops a diamond. Cantlin is now free from the golem's terror. Cantlin's royalty greets the hero at his grand entrance for freeing them from their own walls. The golem was created by a mage who intended to create a stone guardian to protect the town. But since the dark fiends appeared in the world, some nefarious means corrupted their noble protector, turning it into an ignoble oppressor. This town tells a woeful story. Long ago, we see a monster named Spiketail searching for the treasures of Cantlin, the Sword of Kings, and possesses the Guardian, the protector of Cantlin. Spiketail speaks that it is time for Cantlin to die, much like the citizens of Damdara. The priest knows that the fiends fear the power of the heroes. Why else would they invade his home, poison the mind of their protector, and raise Damdara, all just to obtain the many relics of the mighty Erdrick? In his last resistance against the fiends, he speaks of a prophesized hero that will surely one day come to claim, and he shall be their end. But he is not killed here. The fiends carry him off to their stronghold on the Weeping Isle. They remember his story in honour, since it is due to his actions that saved the town from certain death, but the golem remained fuddled, trapping them all within the walls of the town. The new protector of Cantlin learns that the hero is here in search of a Lyre of Ire, but it's a matter concerning their beloved priest, who is no longer here. So Hero intends to go to him in aid, and plans to rescue him from the Dark Fiends. The Weeping Isle lays just north of Cantlin. The only way there is through a bridge that has long since broken. If it was to be rebuilt, the fiends would surely descend and stop it. The people of Cantlin hold this priest in such a high regard, owing their lives to him and speak highly of his honour. The townspeople wallow in the thought that Damdara was once a bustling and lively town, until the fiends laid waste to it. The hero finds some interesting passages within some books. One speaks of the research into Erdrick's equipment. There are 2 legendary ores that are part of it, Orichalcum and Zenithium, but neither can be obtained in modern Alefgard. Another speaks of the legend of how Erdrick defeated the dreaded Soma by infusing his blade with magic, but to master this, one must have a firm grasp of swords and sorcery. It is widely believed that Erdrick's sword has long been shattered before he used it, but if that is true, how could it have been restored to lay the Lord of the Underworld low? Whoever wrote these books hopes to learn the sword's secret and one day maybe forge it himself. A wealthy merchant did once tend a shop in the desert town of Damdara. He was absent off abroad to sell his wares when the fiends attacked, and his grandfather Magog was killed. He has started a new life here in Cantlin, but misses his home in the east of Damdara. But Magog is also mentioned by another in town. This merchant's grandfather spoke of his friend Magog, and of a chest that he had containing the great treasure that he buried beneath a tree behind his shop. If the hero would one day come across Damdara, he should remember what he has learned. Now Hero must search for a way to repair the bridge. He visits the dwarves for they are formidable craftsmen, but the entire group of dwarves are reluctant to help a human and need convincing. But he's cut off. The dwarves remember the hero's efforts of risking his own life to save one of them, and all agree to support him in his time of need. He escorts them back to Cantlin to acquire the materials to build such a bridge. They plan to build the bridge hastily in just one night, for the fiends would not notice such quick efforts. As the work begins, we see a menacing face. The Dragonlord appears in his castle. He says it is time to reclaim the ancient power that is his by right, but his spells are refused by a mystical force. This infuriates him and puts him in a rage of even stronger power and aura. Back at Cantlin, in the next morning, the bridge is finished. As Hero sets off, he is stopped by an older scholar who is convinced he is in the line of Erdrick. He speaks of the kidnapped priest's past. His wife died when they was young, and his son had left home, never to return. He now resides in Damdara as a merchant. If Damdara truly was razed and its citizens slaughtered, it destroyed him to find out the news. The hero crosses that bridge and finds himself past all the mountains at the shore in the Weeping Isle, a confusing cave with many ways to pass. But Hero overhears a noise. The priest is being tortured for information regarding Erdrick's relics. He is ready to take his information to the grave. Hero makes haste through the confusing caves and eavesdrop on their conversation again. A fiend's brought back a prize from their raid of Damdara, which is that priest's runaway son. Whilst in a hurry, the hero takes a wrong turn, but perhaps bound by fate, this mistake led him to finding Stardust, the last item needed to craft the 5 sigils. The return of Rubis is near, but first Hero swiftly heads for the priest and his son. But when he arrives, he was too late. The priest revealed the location of the ultimate key to save his son, but Spiketail has no honor and plans to kill them both regardless. As the priest is burned alive, Hero bursts onto the scene. He enters battle with the fiends, making waste of them with ease. Seeing this, Spiketail retreats in order to find the ultimate key. The priest's son mourns, and the priest breathes his last breath. The hero escorts the son back to Cantlin, where they hold a funeral for this fine wise man. Together they offer a prayer upon him. They speak of a poem from Galen of the Golden Voice, grandfather of the hero's friend, Zalen. The hero stays the night in Cantlin, but while he sleeps, the Dragonlord continues his struggle to force the Sphere of Light to obey him. His castle is engulfed in a dark aura. A voice is heard from the Fairy Queen, speaking to the hero of the Dragonlord's immense power. Alefgard will soon be plunged into an even deeper darkness. Suddenly, the village of fairies are overrun by new powerful fiends summoned by the Dragonlord, forcing them to leave their own home. But they could not make it in time. They are overrun too quickly, and gathered together one by one, they are killed. The voice calls to the hero for his urgent help to stop the slaughter. The chief tries to fend off the zombie dragon, but also breathes her last breath due to its power. Daydreamer managed to cast a spell to put it into a slumber, but as they make their escape, another appears attacking her, but Arm Twister took the blow in her place and was killed in action. Hero swoops in to stop the massacre and deals with the 2 zombie dragons himself. The chief fortunately was not killed, but was seconds away from death, much like the rest of the village. Daydreamer mourns her fallen friend, but the Fairy Queen knows it is time to be strong and fight back, for the world is now being swallowed by the Dragonlord's darkness. The only way to drive it back is with the help of Rubis. The fairy village was not the only place attacked by the hands of the Dragonlord. Back in Kol, the town is under attack and the now resigned Royal Guard's wife and daughter are mere seconds away from death. But from behind, their beloved comes to rescue them. He is attacked from behind by none other than Spiketail. Until the hero makes his grand entrance, he fends off Spiketail once and for all. the monster dropped something in its defeat. It was the ultimate key. The ex-royal guard's reputation and spirits have been lifted, for he would not let a monster hurt even a hair on his wife and daughter. Now that Coll is saved, Hero heads to Galenholm to learn more about Galen, but finds it too under attack and Robin Hood is defending the town. He is filled with joy to see the hero alive and flourishing. The town heard rumours of what Hero has done across the world, saving Princess Gwaelin, and are certain that he is from the line of Erdrick. Now Galenholm is saved and in safe hands, Hero remembers that he must search for the Lyre of Ire in a place special to Galen, and must be hidden someplace in Galenholm. Now with the ultimate key found in Coll, the hero may unlock any door in the world. He uses it to sneak into the docks and finds a secret entrance to the grave of Galen. No one who has ventured into it has returned. Deep in the bottom caverns of the temple lies Galen's grave, and with it lays the Lyre of Ire, Galen's very own instrument itself. On the grave there's a poem carved by Galen too. The hero returns to the fairy village and hands over the stardust found from the isle. They use it to craft the fifth and final sigil, the Star Sigil. And now Hero returns to the leader with everything needed to summon Rubis. They must travel on top of the shrine and play the melody for mighty Rubis so she can come back to this realm. Atop the Shrine of Rain, the Sage of Rain who met the hero at the beginning of his journey is nowhere to be seen. So Hero climbs the heights of the Tower of Rain in search for him. He spots a gargoyle trying to steal the Staff of Rain from the Sage, but he refuses since he and his ancestors was entrusted it by the mighty Erdrick. He is ready to die instead of handing it over, and as the gargoyle attacks, the hero once again rescues him in time. After the gargoyle is defeated, the fairy chief and leader arrive and head to the altar to perform the ritual. With the 5 sigils in presence and the 2 magical instruments played simultaneously, light begins to grow and the sigils move willingly, combining their powers shooting into the sky, revealing a beam of light shining from the heavens, letting down a glowing aura. Rubis, mother to the land of Alefgard, has returned to this realm. She thanks the hero, a scion of Erdrick. She may for now deter the darkness, but Alefgard will not be safe until the Dragonlord is banished from this world. Only one born of the blood of heroes can stop him. In order to reach him, he needs 3 sacred objects, one of the sun, one of the rain, and one of the rain's bow. In a shrine known as the Sanctum, one sage can help acquire these sacred items. The final can only be found using a sacred talisman. Rubis imparts some of her power to the faeries and leaves the fate of the world in their hands. The Sage of Rain hands over the Staff of Rain for doing as he asked earlier on, for returning Rubis into this world and proving his bloodline. The Staff of Rain is first of 3 sacred treasures. It represents the bounty of the clouds. The second sacred item to find is the Sunstone, which represents the light of the heavens, yet only the heavens know where it is found. A voice is heard. Gwaelin speaks to the hero through her necklace. She sends to Rubis. She travelled far to the south, beyond Cantlin, to the ends of the earth. She wants the hero to journey there. The fairy leader thinks she must be talking about the Shrine of Spirit, where the fairies used to live, and where the sacred amulet was once kept. Rubis once gave it to the hero as proof of her trust, but when they were attacked, the shrine was swallowed up by the darkness and the amulet sank to the bottom of a poisonous swamp. Rubis must be trying to tell him the amulet is still there. Hero heads first to find the Sunstone, and his journeys lead him to Tanchagel, inside of a lone structure hidden underground in the Garden of the Kingdom, where inside is an old sage. The Sage of Sun. He always knew that one day a descendant of Erdrick would visit him. Seeing that Hero already possesses the Staff of Rain, he has no doubt that this is who he was waiting for. He presents a gift, the Sunstone, an item given to his ancestors by Erdrick and was passed down his bloodline until now. Hero arrives at the old home of the fairies amongst the poisonous swamps. Gwaelin speaks to him through her necklace. She senses a holy power coming from this place, and yet a great evil also. The evil soon shows itself and attacks the hero, but ultimately fails in its efforts, and Hero reigns supreme. The monster dropped the sacred amulet, the last of 3 artifacts needed. The fairy leader speaks to Hero from the Shrine of Rain. The talisman is a symbol of Rubis' love. She gave it to Erdrick way back when. Now the Sage of the Sanctum will recognize him as a true hero and will aid him, as he now obtains the Mark of Erdrick. When he arrives at the Sanctum, he asked for proof of birthright. The The hero hands over the Sunstone and Staff of Rain, and the sage prays to the goddess with their offerings. Combining together the two artifacts, creating a rainbow drop, he says we may drop a rainbow west of Remundar so we can make way to the island of the Dragonlord. Along his journey, Hero stumbles across the destroyed sand town of Damdara, also meeting once again in a fateful encounter with Zaylin. Damdara was once found to have orichalcum, a rare material that was crafted into the sword that Erdrick once used. The fiends attacked this town have surely carried off with all such treasures. Whilst exploring Damdara, Hero is caught by surprise by an overbearingly large monster summoned through the sand. This surely is the fiend who wrecked the town to debris. After defeating this late night, avenging the town of Damdara, Hero spots something in the corner of his eye. He found buried beneath the sand Erdrick's armor. Continuing his preparations to fight the Dragonlord, the hero's search for the legendary Erdrick's equipment continues. Now with the ultimate key, he returns to the Weeping Isle and finds Erdrick's shield resting within a locked chest. The hero has encountered a descendant of Galen, who travels around the globe in search of a place with a deep connection to Erdrick. He believes Galen of the Golden Voice and the mighty Erdrick spent time here in Cantlin. He speaks of the Lyre of Ire, and that he should return to Galenholm and have returned home their beloved bard. The hero meets him in Galenholm, the home of his storied ancestor, and had encountered with Robin Hood. Another fateful encounter with a descendant of one who encountered with Erdrick. He heard a story from Robin Hood about the faeries, and Zaylin himself has heard tales of encounters with faeries in the field of flowers in the far south. It is said Erdrick did consult with such beings and might check it out for himself. As Hero expects to meet Zaylin within the field of flowers, instead he encounters the Overseer, the fairy chief. Hero asks for her help to find a place with deep connection to Erdrick, but she cannot help for she was more familiar with Ortega, Erdrick's dad, and she reminisces of past times long ago. She directs Hero to the Shrine of Rain to speak to the leader, for she might know the answer. The leader does in fact know a place with deep connection to Erdrick, and takes the hero there to see. She takes him to an island west of Tanchagel, where Erdrick first stepped foot in Alefgard. She says not long after Zoma was defeated, Erdrick returned here. He always wore a cheerful mask in front of others, but here on that day, for once, the mask slipped. His eyes once filled with resolve were filled with tears. Lips that once kept a stony silence now moved in a silent prayer. Perhaps it was a message of reassurance to a much-missed mother. She takes Hero outside to where Erdrick once laid that silent prayer, and resting there is Erdrick's helmet. Inside is an engraving. May victory smile upon you, great hero of Aliahan. All preparations are made, and Hero sets forth on his final quest to rid the world of darkness. He approaches the cliffs west of Remundar and uses the rainbow drop, opening a path to the island. The Dragonlord feels the hero's presence and the bridge restored. Whilst he struggled to get the Sphere of Light to bend to his will, he plans to take out the hero. The Dragonlord's citadel oozes with ominous gothic aura. The throne room has a strange magic emitting from its throne, and behind it, the hero finds a secret passage down into the depths of the castle. Whilst exploring the depths of this monster-filled castle, the hero, by pure fate, encounters a gift from the heavens. He has found Erdrick's sword, the last of Erdrick's legendary equipment once used to save the world from the evil Zoma, will now be used by his direct descendant to rid the world of darkness once again. Hero dives down to the deepest levels of the castle, down to the underground caverns where the Dragonlord awaits this fateful confrontation. Gwaelin speaks to the hero. She feels the presence of the Sphere of Light. She reminds Hero of his promise to return to her unharmed. Arriving in the true throne room, Hero sets his eyes on the Dragonlord and approaches with confidence, and they have their official meeting. The Dragonlord's kind were once masters of this world, but was changed and lost through human history. He says the Sphere of Light would have been his by birthright. His ancestors instead saw fit to grant this to a human hero. Now he has a chance to rid the world of the descendant of that very same human. He offers the hero a chance, an opportunity to join forces, split the world together, and rule as two rightful leaders side by side. The hero declines power over half the world, and declines this evil darkness, and goes forth to rid the world of the Dragonlord once and for all. The power of light overcame the darkness. It triumphed over the Dragonlord, but his ultimate rage shoots an overwhelming darkness as Hero witnesses the ultimate might of the Dragonlord's line, and he transforms himself into a mighty dragon. The Dragonlord's true form fades back into his human-like form. In his desperation, he plans to use the power upon his mother gifted as his birthright. But it refuses the darkness, it refuses him, and the hero takes this opportunity to lay a final blow into the heart of the Dragonlord, and he fades away with the light. Lady Rubis speaks to the hero. She says the time has come to bring this chapter to a close, and that he has done well. The hero takes the sphere of light and he holds it aloft. Those of the hero's line must remain ever vigilant, if even a seed of darkness can remain. The great evil has been banished, and the world knows peace once more. The heroes return to Tanchagel to tell the king of the good news. The hero makes forth to the castle to share with the king of Tanchagel and Princess Gwaelin. They have no doubt that he is the true descendant of Erdrick. Now the darkness was driven back by his hand. The fiends of the world go with it, and a feast will be held, and all shall hail the hero's name. That same night after the celebrations, the hero is troubled and is approached by the princess. They both felt some force calling them outside. Lady Rubis speaks to the scion of Erdrick and Gwaelin of Tanchagel. She is grateful beyond words. She senses the presence of one who may yet have a greater wickedness. In time the dark will surely rise again, and when it does, Lady Rubis will do all she can so the world will not be swallowed in darkness. She asks if the scion of Erdrick will have those who follow him possess the strength to prevail as he has done here. Gwaelin answers suddenly that they will do all in their power, that the future will be filled with strong and kind souls, and that humankind will not fail her, and Rubis will watch over forever. This oath they swear to Rubis will bring hope to future generations. The scion of Erdrick entrusts onto Rubis the 5 sigils, for when one day the darkness arises, they will be the key to ridding the world of darkness once again. Rubis will one day be reunited with the heroes of the line of Erdrick. It is simply a matter of time. And back inside the castle, the king summons the scion of Erdrick. The promised hero with the blood of the mighty Erdrick is clear to be him. The king asks the hero to watch over the fair realm in his stead, and the hero declines, that if he watches over as king, it must be a realm of his own founding, not to take the place of another. The hero is granted the sphere of light and is sent forth with good fortune. Gwaelin bursts in and wants to be taken with the hero. She wants to be his everlasting companion. Together they shall roam the land, so that they may one day fulfill the vow to Lady Rubis. Somewhere hidden away, an ominous and mysterious figure speaks. He says his precious child has failed him, but he will not fail. He swears the wicked world will be repaired again. The Dragonlord offers the hero an interesting opportunity. He invites him to join him and rule over the world side by side, the hero owning half of Alfgard and having the world succumb to darkness, and the hero accepts these terms. The Dragonlord accepts the hero's surrender and engulfs him for an eternity in darkness. The hero wakes at an inn in Remondar, shaking off a bad nightmare.